first of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
Mr. Michael Steele.
Torre, how are you, my friend? People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one, okay? Go ahead. Nikki Gilbert is with us. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is three black guys with a mic.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
What does that mean, man? Is that African?
It's a circle of life according to Disney.
Didn't Walt Disney get high?
I just watched his
Probably.
documentary yesterday. The myth of Walt Disney. Walt Disney wasn't all cracked up to what everybody think it is. I mean, you look at that, you look at those Walt Disney prices, and you're like, I'm paying $3,000 to go and see this?
A rat.
Well,
Ratatouille?
I mean, start with a rat, bro.
I mean, hey, I ain't mad at it. I mean, it's the man behind the rat is the, bigger issue.
Yeah, I told you, man. Dude,
I thought he bought Mickey from somebody else. Like, he didn't even make up Mickey. He bought that from somebody and then was like, oh, we gonna roll with this.
Is that what it was?
Oh, no, I'm gonna look that up.
I don't remember, but I thought that was part of the deal.
Could have been one of them art school students that he paid for. It was like, you know what? I think we should go with this rat. He's like, you know what? Could have been a black man for all we know. He just stole it.
I said we go with the stealing. I like that better. That fits into my narrative. Let's go with stealing. Can I get stealing for 1,000? Stealing for 1,000. We get that?
Lamont, that's not right.
Why?
Walt Disney is an American icon, sir. I will not have you defame the name of Master.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Because on the weekends, I do my little Black History research. And if that's the case, Martin Luther King.
What about Martin Luther King? Wait a minute.
Hey, Hey, Martin Luther King was not the icon that we thought that he was.
Wait a minute. You two blasphemous black men, because when I said something about Martine, you all said, how can I talk reckless about a American icon? And I'm not mad at Martine smoking cigarettes.
Wait. Why are you calling Martine?
That's how it's spelled.
Why are you calling Martine? That's all I'm asking.
How do you spell Martin? Martine, M-A-R-T-I-N, right? My man had honeys. And then when I said what I said about Coretta, God bless her soul, y'all got mad at me because I said Coretta only had juice because she was Martine's widow. She was a professional widow.
Now, wait a minute. Now, the wives got to stay out of it now. Now, we got to stay out of it. The wives got to... Wives off limits.
No, we did this before. No, we're just stating.
Let me ask Maynard, because you said if a woman is out here, showing herself or doing some stuff, then, we can talk about it. So I don't know if Coretta is on limits or if she's off limits.
Coretta Scott King is off limits. Let me say that. Coretta Scott King, she's on limits. Like, we can have a conversation about Coretta Scott King, but unless she does something crazy, you got to respect Coretta Scott King.
Are you watching Enemies on HBO? Is it on HBO or Showtime? I think it's on Showtime. Are you watching Enemies?
I don't have Showtime.
No, which one is that? Because Showtime, they got a couple of documentaries on the Fire Stick that's off the chain.
First of all, let's get the subscription. All right, let's get the subscription. Let's not go to the Fire Stick. We do not bootleg around here. But anyway,
just because you get it on Fire Stick don't mean it's necessarily bootleg.
That is true. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate you clearing that up. But on Lamont's behalf, it is on the Kodi app.
Dang, he's saying that you are certainly.
Lamont is using the Kodi app, but it's Enemies. It's the one about the FBI, the justice, and so forth and so on. So anyway, so I was watching that, and I saw in one of the episodes where they were talking about J. Edgar Hoover's letter to Martin Luther King about, going and kill yourself. And I was like, wait, wait a minute. Why they want for the king? Why they want for Martin to kill himself? And they broke down how J. Edgar Hoover was, wiretapping, Martin Luther King amongst many, civil rights leaders, Black Panther Party, so forth and so on. And they were saying, yo, if you don't stop all this black nationalism, we're going to tell your wife about all the orgies, all of the infidelities and the extramarital affairs. And I was like, well, let me get on my black history a little, and did my little research. And Martin was out here on the speculation, man. And he was out here on the, so I creep. Yeah.
So did we come to a conclusion about Coretta? Did she have a boo?
You think that Coretta had a boo?
Yes.
You think that somebody was sliding in her DMs in 1969, 1967?
All day. Listen.
This is blasphemy.
Hold on, no. This is the real question. This is the real question.
This is disrespect, Lamont.
She's human. What?
Lamont, this is the real question. So so Hoover sent her the tape.
Oh yeah.
And she had been aware before the murder.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you get ready to tell me a black woman back.
Lamont, this is the question.
They had a lot more. They had better standards back then.
Lamont,
no, they didn't. We just didn't see it. Go ahead, man. No.
Did she roll out in 66?
Did she?
Did she ride with her boo in 67?
No.
She was like, well, he getting his.
No.
No?
No.
Well, he was on the road a lot, Playboy. He was
on
out
the road
there
a lot.
So you mean to tell me in
Papa
the middle of the night that somebody was
Stone.
sleeping in through the patio door while them kids were asleep and Martin was out here trying to turn over, voter suppression? You mean to tell me that's what you're telling me? That Coretta was out?
That's all he was out there doing, trying to turn over some voter suppression. Trying to spread the good word.
He was trying to spread the good news, man. That's what he was doing.
Good news.
Martin was out here trying to spread the good news.
He was trying to liberate the people, huh?
He was trying to liberate us for us to be able to have this podcast today. If it wasn't for a couple of sacrificial lambs, hey, we wouldn't have this podcast today. So thank you.
Wait. So how many
try
kids
to liberate some panties though? He ain't liberate no panties.
I mean, how many kids do they have?
Don't they got 3?
It's the 2 girls and the boy, right?
Right.
I thought it was 2 boys.
I think it's 2 boys.
I know it's Dexter and this
Martin Jr. for sure.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that
they got more than that.
Don't be saying that Coretta one of these kids ain't Martin's kids now.
No, I'm just saying that Mrs. Coretta Scott King, they had 4 kids.
They had 4 kids.
Third, her niece, Londa, and Dexter. So it was 2 girls. So it's 2 girls and 2 boys. So any woman on this planet, Coretta Scott King included, in order for you to create 4 children, you have to do what?
You gotta
pray that God will give you a virgin birth.
Oh, stop. Let's not do that.
No, not today. I can't handle that today.
Let's stay on the track, man.
That's what Mary did.
But we're not talking about Mary. We're talking about Coretta. So what I'm saying is, in order for Coretta Scott King to have 4 children, it's a certain act that she had to engage in with her husband. Okay, cool. We got that. All I'm saying is once the husband had passed on, that there's a probability, because of her previous experience with her husband, that she wanted to get that same kind of energy, again.
No.
For 456 months? I'm not buying this, but I'm not. I'm just not.
She want that old thing back.
I'm just not buying it.
Okay.
Now listen. Now Bernice is the youngest. Is that right? I think that's right. She was born in 63, so it'll be 5 more years before Dr. King would pass. But I've read that 65, 66, Hoover was already dropping them tapes in the mail.
J. Edgar Hoover was like, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Yeah, he was.
I'm putting
Yeah,
cake
he
on
was.
all you
Just-
bitches.
Hey, man, can y'all just take a moment and just think about that for a second? You out in these streets. You trying to make the world a better place. You come home because another man and put some tapes in the mail.
You
to
got
your-
to.
Y'all come on to the crib
You
and have a
gotta come
conversation.
home. You gotta
You
come home.
You gotta come
You
home.
understand how you got to explain that? See, y'all just make this Martin Luther King like it's easy and we spending too much time on it. But do you know what kind of stress Martin had to come home to with them babies in there crying, them diapers is filled, them bellies is empty, because them checks wasn't coming in like that.
No.
Right?
Going back to
And-
Aretha. Aretha was putting checks in the mail for Martin.
Right, because Martin, well, listen, man, wherever Martin was living at, whatever the electric company at the time was, listen, man, that electric bill still had to get paid.
But here's the
Playboy.
better question, though, Lamont. But
What?
why? Why would you think that Martin Luther King would be out here not being able to resist temptation?
The same reason Offset is on the Indian street. And one time for my man Offset. Offset is on Twitter like, yo, I miss Cardi B. What up?
I mean, Mike probably was doing the same thing. He was like, look, listen, baby. Listen. When I'm on the road and I'm out here giving these speeches and I'm trying to give us black people hope, yeah, I fuck them. I fuck them girls.
Yeah.
When I'm here with you, I make love to you.
you.
I make love to you.
So all I'm saying is every man on this podcast, there's a reason.
Wait a minute. Just be careful. Just be careful. Choose your words wisely, sir.
I'm
Choose
just
them
saying.
wisely.
There's a reason why we go home, because you can't be out and about like that, because sooner or later
Whoever's going to write a tape, we're going to have a tape on
No,
you.
I'm just gonna say, like, I don't know if you ever saw the Chris Rock tambourine, because that little comedy thing, right? So when Chris admitted on that special about how he cheated on his wife, and he was telling one of his homeboys that he cheated with 3 ladies, and dude was like, only 3? Because you Chris Rock, you out and about, you moving and grooving, and you got the finances to do what you got to do. So just think about Martin. Martin was that guy. Martin was probably like Eddie Murphy in 1968 with the red suit and the leather glove and the whole pinky ring. That was Martin Luther King. He was a rock star, bro.
No, he wasn't.
Hey, you don't think them honeys in the church weren't trying to throw it to him all the time?
Shame on the girls. Shame on those who he was out
Wait a
here
minute. Let's
having
back up,
orgies
though.
with. That's what. First of all, with that going back to man, let me ask you this question. You talk about going back to James Earl Ray. In the year of 1968 in reconstructive surgery, were they throwing orgies in 1966, 64?
Oh, yeah, it was going down.
They were throwing orgies in 66.
Yes, orgies was going down.
Why did you say it was going down? Why?
Orgies were. The 60s was real. That's the age of Aquarius.
Not the age of Aquarius.
That's what it was the age. This is coming of the age of Aquarius. Aquarius.
Oh my gosh! Not the
It
age
was
of
happening.
Aquarius.
Yo,
Well-
it was happening back then, my dude. For real. Like they said, yo.
Well,
They
I
said they
guess
have-
the question is, how do we, let's get into the show, right? And we segue into the show as we look at what Martin has done, Eddie Murphy has done. Everybody has a past as we move into to Kevin Hart and his, comments about homosexuals and gays, and he basically sent out some tweets. He had an act where he was saying that, he did not want for his kids to, his son actually to, be gay, that if, his son was playing with a dollhouse or something like that, or dolls, that he would, throw them out the window or whatever his comment was. But when you go back to look at all of these people in high regard and these people who are celebrities at a very, very, very top level, do we actually look at them different? Do you look at Martin in a different way, believing or knowing that there are extramarital affairs and there was orgies, out there, that he was participating in the 60s? Do you look at him in a different way? Do you not hold him? Do we remove Martin Luther King holiday?
No, you don't remove Martin Luther King holiday.
Okay. So if we don't do that, then why in the world is Kevin Hart, why is he having an issue with hosting the Oscars?
Well, first of all, Martin Luther King didn't say anything negative about nobody, and he was keeping his orgies to himself. Let that man have his orgies. He was keeping it low.
Maynard.
Listen. If
now,
it wasn't for
Lamont,
listen, hold on.
A couple of weeks ago, we got into an argument, and somebody on this podcast said that, do you not remember who our actual listener is on this podcast? And now you're going to tell me that it's okay for Martin to be out here having orgies?
Let me say this.
Women going to come after you. It's
okay. They can come after me, and I'm prepared to discuss it with them. All of them. Hey, ladies, how y'all doing? That's how I'm doing. Now, what I'm saying is, first of all, we know this. What Martin Luther King did in public was what he did in public. What he did in private, nobody knows anything about that had it not been for J. Edgar Hoover being a straight hater. So his haterism, J. Edgar Hoover's haterism, is what brought Martin Luther King. Look, think about this. Who's making tapes of cats in their hotel rooms in '68 other than J. Edgar Hoover?
Nobody.
Like, that's right. If you had a homie in these streets and some side piece made a tape of the two of them together in the bedroom,
Maynard,
and she presented it out there like, yo, Dwight Howard.
not Dwight.
Shim presented that like, yo, Dwight Howard.
Did you say Shim?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whatever that happened, excuse me. I apologize up front. I'm going to take my Kevin Hart moment right now. That transsexual or transvestite person tries to out you. Everybody looks at the person who's doing the outing and saying, yo, that's a violation. That's a flagrant foul. That's 2 shots and the ball out of bounds. What's up? Now, the problem with Dwight Howard is he didn't say that wasn't him on the tape. So that's a whole other sticky situation. But
Martin Luther King, we hold him to, on a pedestal.
No.
I'm sorry.
Dr. King didn't ask you to hold him on a pedestal. You decided to hold him on a pedestal.
Oh, come on, Maynard. Lamont, please help me. So it was okay for Clinton to actually get some head in the White House. That was okay? Maynard?
So can I read something? Can I read something, please? Because I think this is important. And I also think that this is kind of it's a little disturbing to me because I'm ashamed to say that I did not know. So I guess in 2017, some of these additional JFK documents were released, and it involved some of the things that JFK knew about Martine. And I just want to read this because I didn't know. It talks about, it says, this document described the alleged sex act King engaged in as unnatural and abnormal, and details an orgy that took place during workshops King held in Miami in February of 1968. Several Negro and white prostitutes were brought in from the Miami area. An all-night sex orgy was held with these prostitutes and some of the delegates in attendance. In one room, it had a large table in which it was filled with whiskey. Maynard, it didn't say what brand. It said 2 Negro prostitutes were paid $50 to put on a sex show for the entertainment of the guests. And it goes on to say that Martin Luther King was amongst the people in this particular orgy. Now, again, I've heard about the whole having a little side piece here and there, but I didn't know that all of the preachers was out here getting busy.
Wait a minute. What you mean you didn't know the preachers out here? Preachers been getting busy since day one.
All I'm saying is
all
that
these preachers been getting busy.
All I'm saying is that once you get into the details of it all, it does make you look at Martin. It doesn't make him say that what he did was bad, but it puts more of a human air on him. So then you transition that over into Kevin, and this is what I'll say about a certain segment of the homosexual community. Not all, because you can't do that. I know some gay cats and asked them about Kevin, and they said, we don't care about that. But there are a certain group of people in the LGBTQ community that are bullies. Mm-hmm. They are the biggest bullies, and in certain instances, you almost might call them a terrorist. Ooh. Because people are terrified that they can't say X, Y, and Z.
Wait.
What?
Is any of our addresses on any of the things that we have online?
It's all good in the hood. It's all good in the hood.
I want to make sure.
99 Wall Street.
After me.
It's okay. 99 Wall Street, all the way downtown on the 19th floor. Come see me. You go to my website. The web address is right there. Okay. So all I'm saying is, if
Lamont ass ain't been to work in 6 months.
I sure have about 8 months.
He don't even go to that damn office. Y'all wasting your time. Get in your car and turn back around, y'all. He ain't there.
So, but again, if you think about the word terror and a terrorist, right? Because terror is about psychological. It's not always about a physical or a act of violence. But am I wrong by saying that certain people are terrorized, that they won't say certain things? Because like what Kevin said, even with Kevin, when he said, I don't worry about it, he still had to throw that apology in there. Because while they were talking real smack about him and his Oscar thing, he was down in Australia getting that money for them 21,000 seaters that he down there doing. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That money train gonna slow up.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was my thing. I was like, who is the person that's actually out here on the protest? Like, first of all, this is 10 years ago? And I agree with Kevin. I support Kevin. I'm glad that he took a stance and he said that, look, I am not going to apologize. I mean, I'm not going to stand down on something that I said years ago. I've grown up, and if you guys can't respect me for my growth, then you know what? Forget about it. Now, I'm sure these same LGBTQ community folks has been to a Kevin Hart movie, been to a Kevin Hart comedy show, or something in the last 10 years. And I'm just thinking to myself, who are these people that are getting in the ear of the Academy, and who in the Academy doesn't have the balls to say to whoever went and snitched or said something about Kevin and said, yo, I need you to fall back. I need you to stay in your lane. We need these ratings. All right. Last year we wasn't off the chain. So I need Kevin Hart to be on this stage. Fall back, do your thing. Who are these people? Because I don't think.
So who do you think the Academy is? Who do you think the Emmys are? Who do you,
that's a good point.
A large, and this is not bashing. This is just truth. If you start to look around, like for instance, the reality TV industry, the homosexual demographic or the number of people who are homosexual involved with that industry is huge. If you start looking at like the Tonys and the Oscars and who puts on those award shows, there are lots of homosexuals who are involved with that. Now, that doesn't mean that means it's wrong or it's bad or they're bad or they whatever. It's just truth. They have a lot of people represented in that space. That's fine. And that's totally fine. And when you offend that group of people, they probably would have said as people who are arranging it, like, you know what, I think we can ignore this. I think Kevin Hart is still a good look, until a demographic of people come on and say, we're not going to watch, or we're not going to participate, or we're not going to support if you have such and such, or if such and such doesn't do this. And black people have done it too. I mean, we were the original we offended people, Jewish people have been the offended people. Women have been the offended people. Lots of people have been the offended people.
Yeah,
remember?
But black folks ain't making no impact, are we?
Sure we have. We've done things where we said, we don't like that. Remember just 2-3 years ago, Oscars with #Oscars so white. The next year we're gonna give a bunch of daggone awards away to black folks just so we can not be Oscars so white no more. Duck Dynasty was on A&E and somebody decided we don't like that. They some rednecks and the blah 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 and they pour white trash and all these kinds of arguments and and whatever, and they pulled Duck Dynasty off A&E. They put it back on. They wiffle waffle. They didn't know what to do with that. I mean, lots of people have been offended. Not always does being offended, equate to you getting your way. But you're not going to go around here offending, populations that have been able to, on one issue alone, harness their power. And that's the thing.
Yeah, but you know what, Maynard? And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I think this is kind of like radio, right? Both of you all have been in radio. Is that unfortunately, there can be a group of 10 people that can influence a decision to be made for 1 million people. You not agree?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. All day, every day. So I'm still not willing to believe that every day, not every day, but every individual who's a part of that community, is so up in arms. But like you said, Maynard, there could be 7 to 10 or maybe even 20 people that feel a certain kind of way, but because of the position that they're in or their level of influence, that they can create this kind of drama with Kevin Hart. Because I also saw some tweets that Nick Cannon put up about other comedians who said some things about people from that community using the F word that is, if I remember in the 70s and 80s, that is how, people of that community were referred to, and it wasn't so much of a big deal as it is now. You know what I mean?
I mean, Eddie Murphy.
Yes, all day. All
True.
Day.
Now,
all day.
and the crazy part is Nick Cannon got a job.
Right.
Nick Cannon got a new job. Y'all, you got the joint on Fox, the Unmasked or whatever.
I'm gonna need him to cut that hair though. I'm gonna need you to.
He's looking a little bit wild. But we also know this. That show is that's one season. That's nobody. That's whack. But anyhow, you right, Lamont. You right. I think the reason why that Kevin had to stand down is he didn't handle it right. You got to rip the Band-Aid off one way or the other. You got to be like, look, I'm a comedian. I tell jokes. That's what I do. And that's how I'm going. That's how I'm going with it. And I'm not backing down. And that's fine. I would have preferred that he just got fired for standing his ground in that way. Or he should have came out immediately and said, oh my God, I can't believe that. I'm so embarrassed. I said those things, and I said those things wrongheadedly. And I made a mistake, and I apologize. But the idea that he got caught somewhere in between, I'm not, y'all, he turned it around up front and said, it's y'all fault. Y'all are taking this and y'all not letting me be me, and I'm a whole different person. I'm not going to address this. And then he turned around and apologized, and then he resigned from the role. He should have just taken a stance one way or the other and just stood with it.
I don't know, man. This.
None of us are going to ever have an opportunity to host the Oscars or the Grammys or whatever it is.
I mean, speak for yourself.
You ain't said nothing.
Yeah, man. Then why are you shooting down my dreams, bruh?
I mean, you can't speak about Coretta Scott the King the way you have, and then think you're gonna get on the Oscars.
I'm sure he'll probably be able to get away with it. I'm sure that's the unfortunate part. I'm sure
I tell you what, he ain't gonna host. He ain't gonna be able to be the host of the Lady of Soul Awards,
or the BET Awards,
the NAACP Awards.
So that's all.
Black Girls Rock. Black Girls Rock.
No, we're not even gonna be able to be on the red carpet and be able to interview people on the red carpet.
No, we had such high hopes for 2019.
We sure did. We was emailing them and everything. Like, hey, I think that we will be perfect to be able to host the red carpet next year, especially the Soul Train Awards, because I don't know what y'all do in Soul Train Awards.
I wanted just to do this the Sprite red carpet part. That's all.
That's it. That's all I want to do. That is it. Can we talk about sex for a second?
Ooh. Jesus Christ.
Please do. Please do. I can tell you where you're wrong. Well, go ahead.
We talked about, blood earlier.
When you're over 40, yes.
Blood and meat. Oh, the answer is yes?
Yep. Over 40, absolutely.
Okay, so under 30, no. Under 40, no?
God, no. Over 40, you put a towel down and you keep it pushing.
Oh, my God.
All right. right. Well, you answered the question, so I was
already
curious.
know. I already know where we go.
Because
you have Maynard?
I have nothing to add to
me,
that.
that's never healthy. That's never healthy.
How do you figure?
That is not health. That's not hot at all. That is disgusting.
How's it disgusting?
It is not hot at all. That's
Yo,
not.
let me
So listen. So I'm going here, and this is gonna get a little graphic.
Please don't.
I'm gonna try to keep it as politically correct as possible. But Lamont said over 40. That's fine. Maynard, do you agree with that?
I have nothing to say about this at all.
Okay.
Zero.
I disagree with that. Never, ever, ever, ever should you be putting the towel down. But now I've learned that now, orally.
Oh my goodness.
That's
no, God, no.
Listen, I'm telling you, I swear. Now, shout out my wife. My wife didn't hit me to the game. That it's called
Raspberry beret.
Nope, it's called. Hold on.
What, Maynard? What'd you call it?
Google raspberry beret.
Are you serious?
Yo, I'm serious.
No, I think it's called like buffalo wings or red wings or something like that.
Your red wings. You gotta have your red wings. Yeah, that's old school. I've heard, but that's not new. I've heard that before. That you gotta have your red wings, but
that's the nastiest thing I ever heard in my entire life.
Go to Urban Dictionary and Google or look up a raspberry beret.
No, I'm looking at it, but I'll say this. I'm born and raised in Detroit. I never liked hockey. I know it was cool when Tupac wore the jersey, but we don't do Red Wings. How about that?
That is, who's out here doing that?
Wow, you're right.
Trying to tell you.
I'm good. We'll pass on that. Yeah, we not.
Let me send a shout out to my man Reggie Beloved, the Haitian brother, the Haitian atheist brother that hit us up and just was, he said he's on to the show and he just, that has nothing to do with raspberry berets or red wings. Nothing. Or red wings. I just want to just give him a shout out and thanks for listening. Yeah, hopefully we could just change the topic.
Is that what your goal was? To change the topic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Spud could have,
What? I just wanted to know. My wife and I had a conversation, and I just was like, no. I'm not, no. And so I wanted to ask if I was being immature, if I'm being, small-minded, and Lamont said no. When you over 40,
no.
It doesn't even matter anymore.
No. You threw me under the bus, Playboy. You threw me under the bus. No, I thought you were talking about just a regular old school Coke 45. You know what I'm saying?
What's Coke 45?
You didn't drink Coke 45 back in the 80s?
Yeah. Well, I was a Red Bull guy back in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had a little Coke 45 and it was just that time to make it go. I mean, you put a towel down and let's get to work. I didn't know from an oral perspective. We don't do that.
Wait. I'm confused.
What's the beer got to do with anything?
What does Coke 45 got to do with anything?
It kind of gets you right. Today it's what is it for you, man? It's whiskey. I'm just saying it was old school. The old school players used to tell me that.
No.
You put a towel down and then you get to work.
Yeah, but what's the towel
traditional
for?
Work.
What's the towel for?
To protect your bedding, my friend.
Okay. But wait. So now I'm even more confused because now you're telling me that over the age of 40 that you put a towel down?
No. If you are
after the age of 40, you should not be putting the towel down. I would think that under 40, you would be putting the towel down. Over 40, listen, we grown.
Hold on, wait a minute. What does over 40 have to do with anything?
He said, when I first initially asked the question, he said over 40, yes. You put the towel down and you keep it moving. And so, obviously, he didn't understand what I was asking.
No, he said over 40, no.
No, he said over 40, yes. Under 40, no.
Lamont,
can I
clarification?
So here's where I thought Spud was going before he gave us everything. I thought Spud was going to say, if a woman was still on her cycle.
Correct, right?
It was time to have traditional sex. Was it okay or was it not okay?
Right.
Because there's some people who don't believe that when a woman is on her cycle, having traditional sex, not oral sex, but traditional sex is still bad. And I was saying people over 40, and maybe I could back it up to 35, would just say, hey, that was the joke. We'll just put a towel down.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that it is okay in your household that it's cool.
It's cool for what? What are you saying? It's cool. What's cool? So we're clear.
Is it not cool or is it cool? You over 40.
What's cool? I'm asking you. What do you mean?
Listen, I'm asking both of you guys a direct question. I'm
not involved with this.
Is it okay for a male and a female to have intercourse with each other while a female is on her cycle?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. If they want to do that, then that's what they should do.
The answer is yes, but I'm asking you guys. To me, that's not hot.
No, your question is it cool? Your question is it cool for a man and a woman to choose to have sex? I'm asking you, Maynard.
Is this what black men should be out here in these streets doing?
I'm not involved with this.
You're over 40. You just turned 40-something.
I'm only answering the question. Sir, you're not going to bully me into answering another question.
I don't but why are you giving me the Republican pivot? Why can't we speak to black men? Because there's black men out there that listen to this podcast that are going, through these issues, and they should know. From you, you're an expert.
Have you ever had a good sarsaparilla?
What's a sarsaparilla?
It's a soda.
No.
So, okay.
I've had
Kansas City makes a good sarsaparilla. And I know that Junction City and all that. I just figured maybe you might have.
I've had a good soda in my life, yes.
You've had a good soda, okay.
Point?
Oh, no, I just was curious. And I just was hoping that we could just derail that conversation altogether.
Why do we have to derail? Why can't we have a conversation about sex like three grown-ass men?
I'm with you, my dude. Let's go. Forget Maynard, and I don't drink sarsaparilla.
You've been quiet for the last 5 minutes.
That's only because I was Googling Red Wings. I wasn't sure. I want to make sure.
You ain't even going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings no more, are you?
No.
Why don't say that? I don't really do Buffalo Wild Wings, Playboy. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I don't eat that. That's not good. I go somewhere else. But that's another story. But no, I still say as an adult, and I hate to say this because I might have to, not me, but even if you're over 40 and you want to do the Red Wings, then you know what? Hey, man, you grown. Do what you do.
Yeah, I mean, if you
put a towel down.
Put a towel down.
I don't know if you guys know what comforter prices are at Bloomingdale's, my man. These prices, listen, man, toothpaste, mouthwash, and comforter and sheet prices are through the roof, my dude. Because I'm trying to figure out, how does a tube of toothpaste cost $3.39? I'm trying to figure that out. Maynard, I don't know what you're using, but it's $3.39 over here plus tax. For a tube.
I'm all on the Arm & Hammer tip, my dude.
I'm on the Arm & Hammer tip.
I hear you, and that sounds good. I like to switch it up a little bit. Arm & Hammer every day, I can't do it. I need a little, maybe I'm getting high off the fluoride, but I'm at $3.39 a tube. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's a lot.
All right. So what is Spud, sex? What do you want to know?
I'm just, I don't know if you guys answered. You didn't answer my question, and Lamont answered my question, so now I'm there. You guys have helped me twice in this show today.
I think everybody makes their own decision. So there you go.
But what would your decision be? I want to make sure I'm clear. What would you answer? Why?
Because it's personal. I'm not telling you that about me. No. Put it like this: the answer. I'll give you the answer. No, I'm not for that.
Thank you. That was it.
Wait.
Now you probe. Now you probe.
No, but let that fly. So, Maynard, my only issue is that what if your partner questions something different?
When I was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, something like that, maybe I might have went that way. But, at 47 years old, I have enough self-control to say, we got 3 days to wait, 4 days? Okay, I can wait. I can stick that one out.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. But that sounds selfish, man. And what if just the mood was right, the candles were lit, you just got through cooking you a nice farm-raised salmon dinner.
Or steak with some blood in it.
Steak with some blood and a side of tilapia. And, so you had a little Teddy Pendergrass on the sound system. The pretty baby is away with grandma. And it's time. You know what I mean? You just saying you'll wait?
What else you want to know, Spud?
All right, I'll let that go.
That's it. That's all I wanted to know. I was just curious. Me and my wife was having a conversation, and she's like, and I'm like, no. And then she hit me with the Red Wings conversation, and I was like, I don't know who decided that was okay, and that is just not okay. I don't care what kind of man you are, how strong you are, how burly you are, how much money burly you are. I don't care how burly you are. You should not be out here putting your mouth.
Oh, wait. See, that wasn't the conversation.
Have blood.
That wasn't the original conversation right there.
Well,
that was not the original
led into
conversation.
it because I wanted to know if you guys have heard it because, we in our 40s, this is a young man's game out here.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of things that a lot of younger people do that, and maybe just me and people that I knew, there's another phenomenon that I've heard has been around like for the past 10 or 15 years that just kind of bypassed me. And I'm just,
Which is what?
That just ain't what we do. You know what I mean?
Which is what? Which is like what? Go to Ponderosa?
Oh, God, no. Actually, Ponderosa was cool in like 86.
No, which is what, Lamont? What is it? What is it you saying?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, and this is kind of, I know we're supposed to be adults on here, but it's just a little difficult for me to talk about. You know what I mean? I just thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. Erectile dysfunction. We're sorry. We know we don't want to talk about that.
No. Some of these young kids was talking about, they started using this anal word. I was like, whoa. They said, that's just the rage out here. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not for you?
No, God, no.
Yeah, no, I ain't messing with that neither.
God, no. Maynard?
They use the anal word or what did you say?
It just sounds so dirty. The word you just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is that your thing, Maynard?
No, that's not my thing.
That's what's up.
Does that make us whack, though? Does that make us like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people are interested in that. Some people are into that. I dated a girl once in the past that she was all about that. I wasn't.
But you did it anyway?
No. Come on, man. Hold on, man. Relax yourself.
So here's...
I ain't really with that, but you know what? Hey, okay.
Get us a shot.
Let's get us, see what this feels like.
So here's my thing. Speaking of the anal, as I'm looking at Picture Me Clubbing on Instagram.
Oh, come on. Leave my man alone.
No, I'm just saying, like you said, does that mean we're whack? Because I'm looking at Picture Me Clubbing, like, I wonder how many people at the black party were into that. Was that their thing? You know what I mean? But, who am I?
I don't know. I mean, it gets a little, I understand this is a young man's game. I mean, I understand you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it tight in your marriage, I just was curious about, I just want to make sure I'm not, whack out here. I want to make sure that, what I'm not doing at home, no other man has the opportunity to do neither.
Yeah, well, I think, now that we talk about what is out here these days and what's different is the whole idea that, all the songs are discussing and people are discussing and it's all on Facebook and everything else about eating the groceries. That's way on a whole other level.
You've never had the groceries eaten?
Yeah, what's wrong with the groceries being eaten, Maynard?
I'm not for that.
Maynard, you've eaten some groceries, bro. And Maynard, you my guy. You drink that scotch. You've eaten some groceries, bro. You have been in the produce section in your how many years you been around, Playboy? Maynard,
So,
don't you lie to me.
Hold on, Lamont. Wait a minute.
What?
Do you know what groceries are?
Absolutely, I know what groceries are.
Maybe then inform me because I don't know them. Maybe if you're so sure I've eaten groceries, Why don't you share with me what that is?
So I don't know what you have in your area exactly. I don't know if it's a Pathmart or a Safeway or a Farmer Jack or a Kroger. But if you go into any grocery store where you get a plethora of, produce, you get your meats, you get your milks.
This is a filibuster.
No, I'm just saying, you just have a plethora of things that you can buy to consume that, that the body needs for nourishment. And for some of them, it's just enjoyment. And I'm just feeling like you've had groceries.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah, Lamont, you way off.
Wait. So what part of that is nourishment? There's nothing nourishing about eating the groceries.
Here's the deal. From a psychological perspective, it is nourishment.
What?
Psychologically?
Please explain.
Lamont, do you know what they're talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. Because, Maynard, you said this a couple of podcasts ago, like you at the bar and you done met this new honey and you done bought her a drink and X, Y, and Z.
A Heineken, by the way, Heineken.
Yeah, Heineken, or you get her a bucket of Heinekens, right? And
bucket.
No, don't you get like 6 for like $22, or you buy one.
Go ahead.
Damn, 6 for $22.
Lamont, I don't think you. Go ahead, finish your statement.
So you go through the whole thing, you know what I mean? And some weeks later, you and her are in a scenario where groceries are eating, you're like, wow, I did that. You know what I'm saying? That's good for your ego. It's good for you psychologically.
What? I don't know. I don't see I don't know about that.
Lamont, I'm thinking.
I don't know. Wait. Getting it or giving it? Giving it or getting it?
Either or.
No. Let's discuss what they mean by the groceries.
Well, eating groceries, from my understanding, is when someone and their hind parts are being orally
sexually stimulated by the mouth up the butt.
Oh my God! I'm so glad that you guys, put that so eloquently.
No, Lamont, if that's how you do, my dude, I'm thank you. I appreciate you sharing, but I'm not for that.
Maynard.
I don't care what you say. The answer is no.
This is your guy Lamont over here. Don't tell me that. Out of all of your adult life, you've been there, Playboy, and it's okay. You might have known you were there. It might have been too much Jameson, too much blue, too much black, whatever it is. But you've been there, even if it was by accident. You've been there.
Okay, Lamont.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Man over here lying to our podcast community, talking about he ain't never ate no groceries. Man, stop it.
It's apparent that you have.
I didn't say I did or I didn't, but what I'm saying is what you're not going to do is tell me.
I just want to know why you guys can't be straight up with our listeners. That's all.
I'm being straight up, but let me say this. What Lamont is not going to do is he's not going to tell me first of all, anytime someone says, what you not going to do.
He's bullying the conversation. You're bullying the conversation. You're bullying the conversation. I ain't going for that, Lamont. Hot damn.
Well,
we have been talking for 1 hour. Do you guys want to continue to go, or would you like to end the show right here?
We haven't even hit the show note, have we?
Note.
We covered Offset and Cardi.
No, we brushed over Offset and Cardi.
We covered Kevin.
Okay.
Is that enough?
So are we upset about Cardi and Offset? I am.
I'm very disappointed in that. I really thought that I thought that was going to be young love. I thought that the younger generation. What? Why are you laughing?
You laughing, man? I'm confused.
Oh, how old are these people?
Cardi's what, 26, 27? I thought it was gonna be young love, man. I thought it was gonna be like, okay.
5 minutes ago, when I said that Coretta was out in these streets, I was the devil. But because Offset and Cardi might be in the streets, it's okay.
Well, let's be honest. You can obviously, Offset raps about being out in these streets, right? I mean, if Coretta Scott King had a single where she was talking about, twerking or something, then I would say,
but Coretta didn't do anything, so we don't know what it was with Coretta. Coretta was a professional
housewife.
Housewife.
All right, fine, but we do know that Offset has talked about in multiple songs about how many women he has Conquered.
What song is that?
I mean,
I'm his catalog. I don't know if I got that.
Yeah.
And regardless, right? Regardless if you've talked, I mean, there's plenty of artists that are married that have been in successful monogamous relationships that are still on an entertainment side that are talking about a bunch of stuff, women and so forth and so on. That doesn't mean that that he can't be faithful. I'm upset about it.
I'm not saying that he can't. I'm not saying he can't be faithful. I'm saying the difference between why we don't talk about Coretta Scott King and why we would be accepting of and likely to believe that Offset is out here doing this, partly because the culture or the image that he wants us to believe about him versus the image that she wants us to believe about her. That's all.
But where do we separate the entertainment from the reality?
And they have a child, Mater.
That's that. And
what do you mean?
So what having kids got to do with it?
That baby needs her mommy and her daddy.
Sure, her mommy and her daddy.
Her mommy and her daddy.
Her mommy and her daddy should have thought harder. Look, that's the downside. Did you say this on the show last week? Nobody. There's not a handbook for raising children or being married or something to that effect.
Oh, that's what my granddad used to say that. Right. That's real. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, unfortunately, and we always knew this. You knew this when we were in school as teenagers in high school. That teenage girls were getting pregnant, and this is hard to do out here. This is hard to do. Being a parent, being married, being whatever it is, that's difficult. So it gets even more difficult when, two people have big egos. They had, from what anyone can say from the outside, it was a whirlwind courtship. They kind of just like one day they were like, we're getting married. And I'm sure, particularly in Cardi B's scenario, and I did not want to say this until it really just kind of came together. I was not a Cardi B fan, but now I kind of can rock out with her. But there's some emotional, psychological traumas that she's had to deal with that I don't think she's quite reconciled. And I don't know if that makes for a good wife or a good mother without at least acknowledging that you got something that you need to handle. I don't know about Offset, but I'm sure that he's seen some things as well. And I don't know how much they dealt with it.
I hear you, man. So can I ask y'all a quick question, man? And I know we all over time and all over the place.
We're all over the place today. Sorry, y'all.
So do y'all remember that Pastor John Gray, right? Y'all remember the guy that went to the White House and
is that
well, he didn't die. So
no.
He didn't die. We know who John Gray is.
Okay, so homie, he's like a pastor. I don't know how big his church is. He came down there from what's the other brother's name?
I don't know if he has a church. I don't think he has a church.
Yeah, he does. It's in Carolina somewhere, right?
It's in South Carolina, I think.
Oh, I didn't know he had a church. I knew he was attached to
Relentless.
I didn't know that. I knew that he was attached to Joel Osteen, but I didn't know he had a separate church.
Yeah, that's where he came from. He came down there rocking with Joel, right? So that was his man's. They used to get it popping in Texas with the youth ministry and all that. And I know we always keep talking about this, but I just read this. So he's been married for 8 years now to his lovely wife. Seemed like a very nice lady from what I've seen. I don't know him. I saw him on TV. But last night during their black tie wedding celebration, he decided to gift his wife with a new Lamborghini SUV. So now you say, Lamont, what does that have to do with anything? Nothing. But as I'm out here making payment arrangements and trying to figure out how we're going to have Santa Claus come to town because my wife wants this and I got to do that, and the price of, non-farm raised salmon is going through the roof. I'm just like, should we be out here in these churches? Because he gifted his wife a Lamborghini SUV. You got to order them boys. You just can't go and I need one because they on back order right now. And Lamar, how you know? Because I know somebody that's trying to get one. But whatever.
That would be you. That would be
Hold on, Lamar. Wait a minute. What are we paying Lamar?
Right.
What's going on around here? We need to get to the bottom of the line of these checks that Lamar is getting.
I'm just saying, man, these boys is out here, bro. I'm just saying, like, and again, we don't know what his note is. I don't know if he cashed it out. I don't know what his credit score is. But I'm just saying, like,
he getting them Michelle, what's her name, checks. That's what he gets.
Yeah, but what does that got to do with church? That has nothing to do with church.
Well, no, absolutely, it does not. I'm just saying, like what is the insurance payment on a $200,000 SUV? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it does have something to do with church.
No, not necessarily.
Sure it does. It was a time when I had a church as a client, right? And I remember that the pastor's wife stood in, it was First Lady's Day or whatever, something to that effect. I remember, and this church was, I spoke with the pastor a couple of times here and there, and he was just, we were just having a conversation. He was telling me about, the difficulty that, this is during the housing crisis, the difficulty that a lot of his congregation was facing. That so many of them were, losing their homes. Because of foreclosures or whatever the case may be. The job market was bad. And his wife stood in the pulpit on First Lady's Day and said, I'm praying to God for a cobalt blue Bentley coupe.
Did you say cobalt? I'm sorry. I need to look that up.
Yeah.
Not Jay-Z
Cobalt blue?
Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, how tone deaf are you that when you have people who are coming to your church making $32,000, looking for hope and salvation, losing their homes, not having a Christmas, you're saying that you believe, her term was, I'm believing in God for a cobalt blue Bentley coupe this year.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sure, there's a million things wrong with that.
No, it's not. You should be able to ask and you shall be able to receive. If you believe that God's going to bless you with a cobalt blue, whatever, then you should be able to ask. I saw TD Jakes the other day. He said, you have not because you ask not. You should ask for those things. Abundance. You should be able to go to God and be able to say, God, these are the things that I would like to have. In the name of Jesus.
So can we have a moment of prayer on the podcast?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, dear Heavenly Father, we would love for you to bless this podcast with 50,000 downloads.
and Lord, could you get me off these payment arrangements out here? How about that?
Spud, you know this. Your man said it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man with a Bentley coupe to get into heaven. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, too. What? I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I'm with you. Does it sound superficial for her to ask for a cobalt blue? What's the name of the car?
Bentley coupe.
Bentley coupe? Yes.
Wait,
that is very, 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 very superficial. And
Why
materialistic and very unnecessary. However, if that's what you want, you should be able to go to God and,
But the thing is, think about this. She derives her income from the tithes and offering of the church.
Yeah, not necessarily, though, because a lot of...
Oh, I'm talking about this scenario.
Okay. That's why I say I don't know why it. Sometimes that has to do anything with church because John Gray may not be getting paid from the church. That's the reason why I say that.
She derives her income primarily from the tithes and offering of the church, and then in her church, according to her husband, who is the pastor of that church, he was saying, and it was a small church, 300 people, 400 people, not a mega church. He was saying that, the number of people who are contacting him after service or wanting to pray with him, wanting him to pray for them because they were losing homes. Remember, again, I said this is 2007, 8, 9, somewhere there in the middle of the housing crisis.
Recession right there.
And then she goes in there. And that's like saying, hey, I need y'all to go ahead and collect that money and put it up. And then was that your last dime? You made your 10%. Thank you for making your 10%. Oh, that's great. Thank you. I'm about to go out here and get me a Bentley coupe with this money. Yo. Uncool. While you said you have not because you asked not, there was somebody out there asking that their mortgage get paid that month. And she was like, I hope that does happen. And when it does, I'll drop by with my Bentley coupe.
So Maynard, let's just get ready for all of the comments about, oh, y'all talking about Jesus again. It's not about Jesus.
We ain't talking about Jesus.
This is
Not
about
at all.
church, though. This is about
Yeah.
church.
Yeah. There y'all
Church
go
and
talking
Jesus.
about
Church,
church.
Listen,
church.
we can have a 5-hour conversation on church because that's a whole other. Because the
Church
sad
and
part
Jesus
about
have nothing to do with each other.
very, very much so, and I agree with that. But the problem of what you just said, Maynard, is that when you see people like that I'm going to use in air quotes, take advantage of church opportunities, this is what makes people not want to go to church. This is what turns people off of church.
Why I never will understand why a pastor needs a jet. I will never understand that.
Well, Keith Butler always needed a jet. I'm confused. What do you mean?
Well,
You don't
some of
understand
them,
that?
TD Jakes might need a jet.
Why does he need a jet?
I mean,
I don't know.
Joel Osteen might need a jet.
For what?
I don't know. He just
Well, you know what? No. Watch this. Here's what I'll say. I read this. If you chartered a jet from New York to LA, this just is the gas, not the whatever. It's $50,000
But what do you listen
for the fuel.
But what do you need to go from New York to LA for as a pastor? Why? What do you need to do? What is it?
I mean, you doing conventions and you out here preaching the
fly,
word. And you out here spreading the good news.
Then go ahead and get on Priceline and get you a ticket.
Oh, now, wait. Priceline, they don't do first class. Now, I will let the president, I will let the pastor get a first class ticket. You can get on Delta like everybody else.
That's fine, but
Listen, let the pastor get on the private jet. That man make enough money. Listen, if the man makes enough money to get on a private jet, let the man get on a private jet. If it ain't got nothing to do with again.
I don't even understand why he has to be somewhere else. This is what I'm thinking.
Why?
Somebody told me one time, well, pastor got another church in another place, so he has to be able to get to those places. Yeah, we believe God created the earth in 6 days, and then rested, right? We believe that you can send a prayer up to Jesus, and then it goes down to someone somewhere else. Why you got to leave Texas?
To an account rep?
Look, I want to pray for
customer service.
Oh,
rep.
customer service.
I want to pray for Spud. I'm in Virginia. He's in Michigan. I can send a word to Jesus, right? And then that word, as I said, I want Spud to just be healthy. If Jesus wants you to be healthy, you'll be healthy, according to how we say we want to believe. Why I got to get on a plane? Well, only I can pray for this person this way and get on the plane, fly all the way to Michigan just so I can pray with you, or just so I can deliver another word. No, that's awful to me. That is awful.
Business.
It's
not the way to spread the
no,
word.
not business. No. That's
bad
very
customer service.
That's extremely arrogant. That I am so important in the Christian faith that I need to be on the ground where you are just so I can. Because nobody. Listen,
what's the difference between that? There's no difference between that and Jay-Z going on tour. It's the same thing.
No. Jay-Z's delivering Jay-Z's word. That's Jay-Z's word. Bishop Jakes is delivering God's word.
So what's wrong with that? He should be able to go from
There's
Detroit to Chicago
to
New York to whatever to be able to spread the word. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
To pimp the word.
Come
because
on
there was
now.
somebody. Listen, there's a church on every corner in Detroit. Tell me there ain't. There's a church. You go to any black community. There's a church. You can't spit without spitting on the steps of a church. There's somebody already churching that community. We don't need you churching up. We don't need you trying to come and church up this community.
Hey, you can't, yo homie, you can't church on this block. You can't church,
church up here. You can't be churching up here, yo.
This block already, you know what I'm saying?
Churched up. You all
churched up
over
here. You can't even do that.
Right. And you know what it is? All it is like, just like in Cube had a song. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to start banging in Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, here's all I'm gonna say, Maynard, and I think you're 100% right.
Lamont, I just want to say thank you for just agreeing with me more.
I know. I don't know if this is I hope this is gonna end within the ending of this year, because you have been on the same page with Maynard a lot lately.
Well, I'm just saying, and I'm looking at these real prices. If you wanted to get a Falcon 50 and go from LA to New York in just one way, seats 9, I mean, it's $65,000.
And I don't see why a pastor
And
or
you don't
Bishop,
own the plane.
It doesn't matter. I don't see why Jay-Z can do it or Diddy can do it, but TD Jakes can't.
Because I honestly, I think TD Jakes, I think he's in a different field in terms of, and again, maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
So why
is
can
that he's
Warren
supposed
Buffett
to
do it? Warren Buffett can fly private, but
Well, I think step one is this. You know, we believe that people in the government and people in the church are supposed to serve the people. That's the same reason why when we found out that Scott Pruitt was out here taking a whole bunch of daggone private flights, he ultimately lost his job. We believe that, first of all, why are you going anywhere else? You don't have to take your show on the road. Jesus is everywhere. God is everywhere.
Jesus took his show on the road, homie.
Wait.
Jesus did not go first class.
No.
Jesus walked.
Well, he did come into.
He had to air Jesus sandals.
Wait. Now on
He
the
had to air
Passover,
Jesus sandals.
he did come on a mule, so that he did come in on a mule.
He traveled like Jesus. Jesus traveled like everyone else, but you don't have to. You have to be. I remember a friend of mine. She was trying to help her church, and she said her pastor said that God came to her and said, "You're going to start a teleministry." There is a teleministry on every channel, not just on Sundays. Why you? God did not come to you and say, "Hey, cable is good. I think you should jump on that."
Now, you can't say what God said.
God didn't come to look. God, last time anybody ever chronicled that God said something, it was Moses.
Now,
Aside from that,
wait. No, are we back on you? Don't believe in God. You do believe in God. Which one?
All
I'm
saying is the last time. No, I'm not flippantly flopping. I'm just talking about what we believe. If we believe that God is out here speaking, then we believe that these people are like Moses. Are they like Moses or not?
I don't think that there's anything wrong with people spreading the word of God. It's no different what Paul did, what Simon did, what Philip did. I mean, they all were messengers of the word, and they all went out on their own way. Timothy did it. They all went out on their own way and spread the word of the Lord or gospel or however you want to put it. Everybody did that in the Bible. They all did that in the Bible. So that was their way of communicating and growing the church or growing or spreading the word of God. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with 14 different pastors out here going from city to city to city. Now, here's what I do have an issue with. I do have an issue with if you're going on tour that you're charging, like I saw Joe Osteen, it was like $100 and something. Like, wait a minute now. I don't want to spend $100 and something to go and see you preach. But I understand you got expenses. You rent out the palace. You got stuff to pay for.
Whoa!
I'm not mad. Wait a minute. Hold on.
You didn't have to rent out the palace.
They got ticket prices?
Yeah.
Who's the chick? There's a chick that was in
Joyce Meyer. You don't go see Joyce Meyer for free.
No, you don't.
You don't go see Creflo Dollar for free.
You
did.
sure?
At one point, yes, you did. You don't go see Creflo Dollar for free.
But
now,
your girl that was in Pastors of Detroit, right?
Bishop Vaughn?
Yeah, yes. She just did an event in Detroit. October. Friend of ours, a friend of the show, you know, somebody you know and I know very well, was working on that project. Old girl was talking about, the package is $900.
I mean, they got lights to pay. They got light bills to pay.
Wait. What do you mean the
here's
package?
What I got an issue
I don't
with.
understand. What do you mean the package?
The
package
cost,
was $900, and you know what it included?
Meet and greet.
A meet and greet and one meal. You got her book.
Oh my God, this dude is on StubHub.
No, it's for real out here.
Now, let me go back. I want to say this. Let me kind of clarify.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yes, but again, a lot of pastors don't take a salary from the church. So if you are out here like let me just say like Rick Warren, I'm using air quotes, so I don't know for sure, but from what I've learned from Rick Warren and Saddleback, that he doesn't get paid from Saddleback at all, right?
Rick Warren wrote The Purpose Driven Life, right?
Correct. Yes. So when Rick Warren is out here, he's on his own. Same thing with Joel Osteen. I heard that Joel Osteen does not get a salary from his church. Now, if you out here on a speaking tour and it's you, which I already know where you're going to go, Maynard, but it's you and you doing your thing, okay, I see that. Now, if you using the church to get paid, to me, that's a problem. But if you on your own, you out here selling books.
They are using the church.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. But if you out here, you on the book tour, and you celebrating the book, you on the Michelle Obama thing, and you out here selling books, I'm fine with that. I'll pay.
So here you go. I don't use the podcast to get paid, obviously, right? And I'm glad that we're on this podcast. But Detroit, I'll be in town next week. Come see me with the book. Come on, man.
Hey, but you know what? But Maynard, let me retract that, because I'm looking at these Creflo dates for 2019, and 90% of them are free. I'm sorry. I got Tampa, St. Louis, Kingston, Detroit, Columbia, Omaha, Birmingham.
When you get there,
what?
I knew he was gonna say that. A love donation, a love offering.
I ain't even gonna talk about that. I ain't even gonna talk about that part. We know he's gonna get an offering. That's happening. That's not an issue. He's getting an offering. But the book and the prayer cloth and the oil.
Now that I'm fine with. I'm fine with that, because if that's your own thing, that's fine.
But the problem is, you can buy the book. Or no, let me not say the book. You can buy the prayer cloth and the oil on Alibaba. That stuff ain't special.
So you saying they're using the freemium model?
The freemium.
Exactly.
No, that's a real thing, Spud.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing. It's freemium.
It's free, but it's free, but you buy the premium opportunities. You buy the little stuff.
Yes.
And don't get it twisted. You wanna get the picture?
It's sales, man. It's sales.
Let me see here. I'm on Alibaba right now.
I don't know what Alibaba, but I will tell you this. My man at Candy Crush, he broke all of that down. He's like, when they started Candy Crush, we doing freemium over here. And I had never played it, don't know what it is, but that's how they made $1 billion. So we gonna trick.
If you go to Alibaba.com and you just type in prayer, the first thing comes up is prayer mat, prayer shawl, prayer dress, prayer chair, prayer candles, prayer beads, prayer mat Muslim gift, prayer flag, prayer box, prayer oils.
Hey, can you type in the Black Jesus candle and see if you can get one of them for Lamont for Christmas?
I'm good. I told you we burn over here, Playboy. But I got you.
All right, are we done now, or are we going to continue on, because we haven't touched any notes at all?
I think we're done.
We'll do it again next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a fantastic week. Share this episode with 10 of your friends and get absolutely nothing but a thank you. If you would like to be a part of the conversation, you can join us at facebook.com/3blackguyswiththemic, or you can go to our website, drop us an email there at 3blackguyswiththemic.com, or you could just simply send us an email at sir@3blackguyswiththemic.com. Shout out to my man Carlos Dillard, who listens to our show regularly. He is not happy with us right now. Well, actually not happy with Maynard. But that's anything new. I mean, it is what it is. Or actually, I don't know if it's Maynard or Lamont. Both of you guys on the transgender thing. He's not happy about that. But, so shout out to, Carlos Dillard. Rest in peace to Kool-Aid. We'll do it again next week. I heard you thumping your microphone, Lamont. Did you want to say something before we go?
Nope. I will wait till the recording stops so we can talk about transgender.
Hey, man, listen, they got a transgender boxer out here. So, transgenders out here beating some people's asses.
I don't know. I just saw something that's just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. We'll do it again next week, people. Peace out.